Listen to the complete season ad-free by subscribing to Curious Cast Discovery, exclusively on Apple Podcasts.
It's the late 1980s, and we're in Orem, Utah, where love is in the air at the high school prom. The dance floor's bobbing with sequins and shoulder pads, feathered hair and perms. Excited girls giggle at the sharp young men in tuxedos who watch them from the sidelines, their arms folded, trying to look cool. But one boy gets a little more attention than the others.
He had the best smile, super handsome, and had a great laugh.
You see, this boy's not just tall, dark, and handsome. He's got status.
When he ran for student body president, I was so excited because I was like, yes, I am voting for Taj.
In fact, who didn't vote for Taj Khyber Rowland? He's on the swim team, the soccer team, the athletics squad. Taj is the most popular kid in school.
Taj was loved by everybody.
But he's especially loved by girls.
He will forever and always be my Taj.
Because 17-year-old Taj is charm itself. He stands out, even though he's now more American than pumpkin pie.
By this time, I don't know anything about India. I'm wider than the most Caucasians are.
He has a regular girlfriend now, and he's pretty serious about his little blonde.
He dated my best friend in high school and really liked her, and she liked him.
So after the prom, the girlfriend wants to introduce him to her family. After all, what's not to like? He's every parent's dream, isn't he?
He knocked on the door. The dad came to the door and told him to get out and never come back, and to never be with his daughter. And that broke his heart.
The girl's father doesn't see the most successful boy in school on his doorstep. He just sees a person of colour, a foreigner.
So suddenly, as a teenager, I don't belong here, I look different.
So Taj is good enough to play soccer with Utah's sons, but he's not good enough to date Utah's daughters.
The crave of being loved and accepted by girls was so strong, it was just so painful.
And if Taj isn't Indian anymore, but isn't American either, then who exactly is he?
I'm truly lost between cultures and different worlds and different families. And because of this vacuum, I don't know who I am.
What's your name?
From Curious Cast and Blanchard House, this is Stop Rewind, The Lost Boy. I'm Emma Jane Kirby. Episode 5. More Precious Than Jewels. 1989, and at the Rowlands' house, things are a little difficult.
You know, I can do whatever I want to do. I'm going to go live my own life. I can't be told what to do any longer.
Like most teenagers, Taj is fighting against his parents' authority, challenging their rules and regulations. Except, of course, Taj is nothing like most teenagers. None of them have been kidnapped, then sent to live thousands of miles away with a family which isn't theirs.
The helpless boy that was taken and then put into a situation after situation that he couldn't control, I was taking that control back.
Now that he's growing up, Taj understands the injustice of what's been done to him, and he resents it.
There's parts of me that became somewhat ugly because I got so upset that this happened to me. It was like an anger that was boiling inside.
He was very quick to anger sometimes, and I could never figure out why.
Nancy Golly became friends with Taj at high school, and she was one of his biggest fans.
We just got along. We could joke with each other, but he was great at flattering, which, in high school when you're terribly insecure, and I was especially, but I could let my guard down with him.
While Taj became Nancy's trusted confidant, she always felt there was something he wasn't telling, some secret he was holding back.
There was always an undercurrent with him. You could feel it, but I didn't know why, and I didn't know what it was. Because he doesn't let his guard down. Hardly ever. The mask was always up.
All that most popular kid in school stuff? It's just an act.
When you are faking, you can only fake it so long, and it becomes tiresome.
His happy-go-lucky persona fools everyone else. But it doesn't fool him.
You have to go home at night and you're by yourself and in your own room, and you have to be honest with yourself and with your feelings.
Taj may have reinvented himself, but he doesn't like who he's become.
I wasn't good enough. I wasn't white enough. I'm a different race. I'm a different color. I don't know who my parents are. All those doubts that come into play.
At school, nobody notices Taj is struggling, except maybe Mike Graves, his first friend from elementary school, who realizes something's not right.
He was very upset, frustrated with God, his family.
Mike and Nancy both know Taj's adoptive parents, Fred and Linda, especially his father. Fred is Mike's wrestling coach and Nancy's biology teacher.
I think he was really having struggles with his dad. Fred was a perfectionist, wanted success from everybody that he taught, and I do believe that was the same way with his boys.
Mike remembers Fred favoring old-style parenting.
I'm here to be your father, not necessarily a friend, a father, a coach, and this is the way life is to be successful.
They were very, very strict. And I don't remember his mom smiling very much. And I just remember feeling, anxious around them and nervous.
If Nancy ever suggests that Fred and Linda are maybe just trying to do the right thing, Taj immediately gets upset.
He's like, you just don't understand that they're just too difficult. He didn't really open up a lot about that, just that they were unfair. They put unrealistic expectations on him.
Mike and Taj take long drives together in the mountains. Most of the time, they drive in companionable silence. Of course, Mike knows that Taj has been dumped by his girlfriend after her parents banned her from seeing him because of the color of his skin.
I didn't want to feel sorry for Taj, but I felt bad for Taj as far as people not understanding who Taj really is.
But sometimes on those mountain drives, Taj voices his insecurities.
He says, what really is my purpose here? Where is my life going? What am I going to become? And who am I?
Taj's identity crisis goes far deeper than Mike and Nancy could ever imagine. Because deep down, Taj knows he's not Taj. That's just a name his adoptive parents gave him. He knows he's someone else. He's Chelamutu.
I was really successful in keeping these memories bottled up, and Chelamutu was just shut out. It was just lid on it.
Linda sees what's coming.
She used to say, Taj, you're like a volcano. One day you're going to erupt.
Because Taj is beginning to hate himself for silencing the boy he used to be. It almost feels like a betrayal.
It was so painful just to have Taj live on his own because Chelamutu was not there. It was not there.
Except, of course, even after all his teenage years of trying to fit in, Chelamutu is there. He's always been there. He's just been bottled up deep inside Taj. And now he wants out.
This craving of Chelamutu, it's almost like opening the lid and suddenly a memory would start creeping up. And so my two worlds started to collide.
In the fallout of that collision are Fred and Linda. Suddenly, their son's curt with them, aggressive and angry. There are constant heated arguments between them.
It was very hurtful after all we'd dedicated to him. And, I mean, our life was thrown into total heck.
Taj's parents are blindsided by his anger, where it's coming from. Because for the past 6 or 7 years, Taj has been completely placid at home. He's never shown or even talked about his feelings.
Because I would never allow my emotions to come out because I chose to, as that child, just stick it in and just close it. And so a lot of times they would ask you, how do you feel? And it's like, well, I don't know, because my brain is almost like deleted. So you're asking me how I feel about what?
But now Taj's emotions are boiling over. He doesn't know what to do with them, except kick off.
It was a very dark time in my life.
He becomes rebellious and confrontational.
Taj was a tough kid. He would do things that we did not like. And we'd had to put our finger right on him. Say, we don't do that. We don't go out late at night and just go do what you want to do.
Linda suspects there's a lot more to Taj's outbursts than just normal teenage angst.
It was hard. I'm sure he had a lot of problems that he didn't ever tell us about. He'll talk if he wants to, but if he doesn't want to talk, he won't talk.
Underneath it all, Taj resents Fred and Linda. What right do they have to tell him what to do? He's sick of having no control over his life. He's almost grown up now. Other people don't get to decide for him anymore. Sure enough, the tension builds until one day, it all comes to a head.
You're not my parents. I'm fed up. I'm sick of pretending to be who I am. I'm sick of this entire life. And that's when I try to save myself and ran away from home.
Sunday morning, Orem, Utah, 1989. While other teenagers are sleeping in or messing about at the skate park, Taj Khyber Rowland is at church, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
The church really shaped me. Everything that's good in my life has come from that church.
Fred and Linda Rowland have raised Taj and all his adopted siblings in the Mormon faith, and church isn't optional. It's an integral part of family life. But Taj isn't part of that family life anymore. He's living in student housing and working 3 jobs to pay for it, while also keeping on top of his schoolwork. But even though there's no one telling him he has to go to church, Taj still chooses to attend Sunday service.
Religion actually helped me a little bit to take the hate and the ugliness that I've experienced. It kind of cleansed me of that a little bit.
The church has always been where Taj finds solace, but not always out of piety.
I wasn't really going to garner and learn religion. I was going there for an escape. And people were kind.
Taj's friends know he's unhappy, but they think it's just because he finds his parents too strict. No one understands the depths of his identity crisis.
It was not till probably his last year in high school that I really knew that he was Chelamuthu.
Actually, one person does understand. Taj's bishop, Dr. J. Clark.
He was going through a personal identity crisis. Indeed, he was crying out to be able to return to his roots.
Dr. Clark has always been close to the Rowland family. He's one of those rare individuals who just has the knack of making people feel safe. So when he learns Taj has walked out, he offers him a sympathetic, and confidential ear.
I had been able to gain a relationship of trust with Taj, and I consider it one of the greatest blessings of my life that I happened to be there.
Taj pours out everything to Dr. Clark. His long-lost family in India, how he was kidnapped and ripped away from them. He tells him about the orphanage and how he was put up for adoption in America. And he explains how helpless he feels, not being able to do anything about any of it.
He was very open about it, and though he didn't like it, he, I think, clearly understood that there was no way he could go back, but he was focused on his future.
Fred and Linda also go to see Dr. Clark, hoping to find a way forward. They're heartbroken, wondering where it all went wrong. But they know their bishop can't tell them anything that Taj shared in confidence.
They were hurting, and I can still see the looks on their faces and the look of pain in their eyes. All I could do is just to assure them that I was on their team.
Dr. Clark isn't just a good confidant for Taj, he's also an inspiration. Because Dr. Clark hasn't always lived in homogenous Utah. He's lived and worked all over the world, preaching the gospel on LDS missions in South America, Africa, and in Asia. And that gets Taj thinking of something he used to think about a lot.
That I can go back and teach the people in India the gospel about the church.
Taj mentioned to me that he would like to go to India to serve as a missionary, as an opportunity to forget himself for 2 years and just to go out and serve others.
Dr. Clark agrees that moving away for a while would help Taj clear his troubled mind. So Taj applies to become a Mormon missionary, and he prays hard to get posted to his homeland. But missionary applicants don't get to choose where they serve, and when Taj hears he's been accepted, he also learns his destination. It's London, England.
I have faith that God already knew the good that will come out of a bad situation.
£10 ਦਾ ਰੱਖ, £10 ਦਾ ਰੱਖ, ਵੱਡਾ ਰੱਖ 10 ਦਾ, big ਰੱਖ 10 pounds.
It's 1990, and Taj has been living in the East End of London for a few months now.
They're £10 only, bedspread is £4 only.
And it already feels like home.
Blanket is very nice, blanket is £10 only.
Really like home.
Thank you.
London is a magical place. It was exciting.
Everything is cheap, 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 cheap.
From the moment Taj steps off the plane, he's spellbound. He's never been to London before, and yet...
It was something familiar.
Taj arrived knowing little about Britain's colonial past, and nothing about the mass migration from the Commonwealth that happened after the Second World War. So after the whiteness of his hometown in Utah, London's multiculturalism floors him.
East London has a tremendously large population of Indians. It feels like a little India.
And that little India is sending his senses into overdrive.
I would see an Indian woman wearing a sari or a churi walking down the street, and it was incredible. I would hear various languages, and it was like a reminder. The biggest thing was the smells. You would walk past an Indian home, and the float of curry would come in the air. And it was a smell that I longed for.
It's been over 10 years since Taj tasted Indian food.
I still remember eating chicken sag with naan, and I thought it was the greatest flavor in my mouth. It was incredible.
While his fellow missionaries feel a bit lost in this culture, Taj feels he's home.
The combination of the smell and the flavors, it brought back memories. And it wasn't the bad memories. It wasn't kidnapping or going to an orphanage. It was more of the real lovely memories in my mind. The memory of a younger Chelamutu would pop into my head. Things that I've chosen to forget about, those memories started to float in. It was like little pieces of a puzzle that I didn't know that I was putting together. I wanted to remember.
During his time in London's East End, Taj's memories of Chelamutu and his life in India continued to sharpen.
My brain started to spend more time on these memories. And so I decided to take some of these memories and just try to start drawing it out so I could remember a little bit more.
It starts with a few random doodles on a bit of paper, but then the lines seem to be forming their own shape until Taj realizes that he's drawing a map.
It took me months to draw this map. It was different smells and different experiences that created this map for me.
Almost every day, a new encounter triggers a new memory until the map starts to fill out.
I remember these little stories of how I almost drowned in the river and somebody older saved me. I remember the little snake that came out, and from that memory I was able to say, wait a minute, how long did it take me to get to that river? I didn't know the city name, I didn't remember any of that. But memories of the park came in, and I identified, well, how far was it from my home to the park? So I wrote that down, and then the bus stand.
And something else is taking shape too. As he wanders through London, Taj doesn't feel different anymore. No one stares at him the way they do in Utah.
I didn't stand out like a sore thumb. I just blend in.
With every new day, Taj begins to feel more like himself.
It was just pure acceptance.
By the time his mission's over, Taj is no longer that angry, mixed-up kid who ran away from home. He's a young man who knows what he wants, exactly what he wants.
I longed to be part of that culture again. I needed to find people of my own color and my own culture.
Folded in his pocket as he boards his flight back to Utah is his hand-drawn map. And folded into his heart is someone he thought he'd lost.
I regained Chelamutu back. I saved him.
Utah, 1991. And the first Indian restaurant in the Rowlands neighborhood has just opened, right by Linda Rowlands' real estate office. And it's already a firm favorite with Taj.
I eat there a lot because I enjoy the food. I probably was his number one customer.
Since returning from London, Taj has kept that promise to himself to stay connected to his Indian heritage. He's also enrolled at university, and his relationship with his parents is easier. Although, admittedly, he hasn't really told them about the revelations he had in London, or the resolutions he made there.
My parents and I were not emotionally close at all. So, no, we didn't talk. Now, it's not their fault either. I didn't share my emotions, and I never disclosed my experiences.
Well, maybe Linda has a mother's intuition, because she spotted a big change in her son since London.
He was a little more congenial. He wasn't so brash, and he came home a better man, because I think he saw the world.
Linda's also noticed that Taj is keen to connect with people from his own culture.
He wasn't going to date any more blondes. He wanted to date people of his own race.
So it's Linda who tells Taj to check out that new Indian restaurant. and who introduces him to its owner. Because, well, maybe he'll know some nice Indian girls.
I happened to see a family photo, and immediately I saw this amazingly beautiful Indian girl. And I said, "Hey, this is my wife. Where's she at?" They laughed and they thought I was joking.
Of course, the restaurant owner doesn't know that Taj is famous for his determination.
That picture just, captivated me. It was like, I think I was eating and I was eating and looking kind of a thing. And by the time I left that evening, I managed to get the phone number of this girl.
Now, the pretty girl is actually the restaurant owner's sister. Her name's Priya. The restaurant owner explains to Taj that Priya's currently living in Singapore with their father, who's a university professor. So Taj makes a long-distance call, which the university professor picks up. Taj introduces himself, then asks to speak to his daughter. He's not amused.
There was a big pause, and he was like, "We don't believe in dating. Don't call my daughter."
Because what the restaurant owner forgot to tell Taj is that although his family are all Mormon converts, his father still believes in arranged marriages.
However, I was undeterred, and, I'm a little bit of a romantic.
So Taj writes to Priya and includes with his letter a cassette tape of cheesy love songs.
He pursued, but it intrigued me to see who this boy was that was so interested in me.
A few months pass, and then Priya moves to Utah to start university, where her brother has just bought a house in Orem, very near Taj's parents' house, actually. And this is where things begin to take an uncanny turn. Because remember, Linda worked in real estate.
In fact, his mom sold the home to my brother, actually.
Linda Rowland sold them the house.
We were meant to meet, Taj and I.
And they do meet, because Taj invites himself over to their milk boiling ceremony.
Sort of like a new house in Indian tradition. We take a pot of milk and we boil it over to kind of have a good luck of prosperity and good times in the house.
It's actually just for family and very close friends.
But he was there in the background watching me the whole time. I was flattered and scared.
Other family members have also noticed Taj's not-so-subtle interest.
The rest of the family know why I'm coming. I'm not coming for no milk boiling ceremony.
So Priya's father's not happy. For him, Taj is a Westerner, not Indian at all.
He was very American, and I was quite traditionally Indian. He was brown, but he was very white.
And Priya isn't really focused on the milk boiling ceremony either.
There's just this boy that I thought was cute and charming and very athletic and just a fun person to be around.
I just threw myself at her and didn't give her an option to say no.
Despite the angry looks he receives from Priya's father, this time Taj doesn't give a fig about parental disapproval. So the two begin to date in secret and become an item. Taj and Priya. While Priya's parents don't know anything about their relationship, Taj's parents are completely in the picture. And Linda's delighted to see her son so smitten. She begs him to bring this young lady home. So one evening, Taj and Priya just drop by, unannounced.
My father was in his pajamas and watching TV.
While Fred scurries off to make himself presentable, Linda just beams at Priya. You see, ever since she first adopted Taj, Linda's had a recurring dream.
She had a dream of, who I'm going to marry.
And because of that dream, Taj's parents have always been quite dismissive of all the American blondes he's brought home.
And they're just like, man, son, you're wasting your time. I already know who you're marrying. You're going to be marrying an Indian girl. I'm like, whatever. Where am I going to find an Indian girl in Utah?
So naturally, Priya's an instant hit.
Linda's quite excited to meet this Indian girl. In fact, she kind of felt like maybe I was the one.
At one point, she even pulled me aside and said, "This is the girl that I saw in my dream." I'm like, oh, you are just weird.
I said, I think she's beautiful and she's delightful. Just loved each other. That's all there is to it.
Oh my gosh.
That's nice old photos, Mom.
So over mugs of cocoa, Linda gets out all the old photo albums and scrapbooks.
Who is that?
And Priya's delighted. She and Linda just bond.
There's a lot of different ways.
It's excruciatingly embarrassing for Taj, of course. They've barely been dating for 2 months. So this is way too much information to give the girl he's trying to impress. Because apart from the fact that he was adopted from India, Taj hasn't told Priya anything about his past.
Little baby. See that. She looks like a little boy. Okay, what, Mom?
But as Linda pulls the last mementos from the box, her hand closes around something hard. It's an old audio cassette. She hands it to Priya, who reads the faded label. Taj Roland, Childhood. Linda pushes it into the tape deck and hits play. She asks if Priya speaks Indian.
That's what she said, and I had to correct her. I said, no, I come from Tamil Nadu, which the language we speak there is Tamil.
Then Linda tells Priya that's the language Taj used to speak, Tamil. So Priya listens hard so she can translate. At first, it's just cute. Her boyfriend as a child, singing hymns in the language he can't speak anymore.
It was beautiful. Beautiful, kind of put me to tears a little bit to hear his little baby voice. I didn't know his Tamil name was Chelamuthu until I listened to the tape. I knew him as Taj.
But when the little boy on the tape really starts to talk, Priya stops smiling. She goes completely cold. She asks to hear the audio again.
Oh my gosh. There was just silence. I wasn't sure what to say.
16 years after he recorded his plea, Chelamuthu's secret has finally been understood.
He says, I've been captured. He caught me and he took me. That's what exactly he says in the tape. And if you do say anything that you have a family, we're gonna beat you. So just keep quiet.
Then Chelamuthu begs to go home.
And I'm sorry.
As she translates for the Rolands, Priya's overwhelmed. She's only 18, barely more than a child herself.
I don't know. I mean, how would it be to be taken away from my family that I grew up with and suddenly put into a foreign country and not knowing what to do?
Through the hiss and crackle of the scratchy tape, Chelamuthu's little voice floats back from the past, listing his relatives, begging to see them. But mostly, he's begging for his mother.
From
that moment, I just knew I was supposed to help him find his family.
There are no more jokes that night. As Taj and Priya help Linda put away the souvenirs and the photo albums, no one even speaks. But when Priya closes the scrapbook to put it back in the box, a loose piece of paper catches her eye. It's an airmail letter.
I am reading through this letter and I go, this handwriting looks very familiar.
It's a note from a Mormon university professor in India, the one who lived near the orphanage and the man to whom Linda wrote all those years ago, begging for help to send Taj home to his mother. And now Priya's reading that man's response, which says He's going to try to meet Paul and ask him. But without the name of the child's village, he's not optimistic about being able to help. After all, India's kind of a big place. There's not much he can do.
And it was a little blue envelope.
And she flips it over, and lo and behold,
my dad's writing on it. Yeah.
It's her father who was writing the letter in response to my mom.
So the man who wrote to the Rowlands all those years back to say he couldn't help them find Taj's family is the same man who now doesn't want Taj hanging around his daughter. It's Priya's father. You've been listening to Stop Rewind, The Lost Boy, a Blanchard House production for Curious Cast. It's hosted, written and produced by me, Emma Jane Kirby, with additional production by Himat Shalagram. Stop Rewind, The Lost Boy is inspired by the book The Orphan Keeper by Cameron Wright. We'd like to make it clear that the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints has never promoted or facilitated the adoption of children from Paul Thurvados' orphanage, Lincoln Home for Homeless Children. On the Ground Interpreting by Smita TK. Additional research by Catherine Gillon. Original music by Toby Matamon, Louis Nankmanel and Daniel Lloyd Evans. Sound design and mix engineering by Volkan Kiseltuk, Daniel Lloyd Evans, Toby Matamon and Louis Nankmanel. Post-production supervised by Daniel Lloyd Evans. The creative director of Blanchard House is Rosie Pye. The head of content at Blanchard House is Lawrence Grizel. For Blanchard House, the executive producers are Amika Shortino-Nolan and Lawrence Grizel. For Curious Cast, the executive producers are Dina Velasquez and Chris Duncombe.